This is really interesting. So I love Pew Research. They basically go and find out what countries think, like what the people in the countries think. And it's especially useful when you're gauging opinions about China. Because if you ask Chinese government statistics bureaus, they're going to be like, everyone loves China.
Yes.
We love China.
Oh, dude. Oh, it's my favorite thing where they're like, the shills. When I say shills, I'm just talking about CCP propagandists who they're tasked with flooding social media with pro-China garbage. And it's everywhere on Twitter, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, everything. They always put out the stat that over 90% of Chinese people approve of the Chinese government. And then they put out real stats from other countries like America, where there are many people that don't approve of the government. And they'll be like, I don't know, 60% or 70% approval rating. They'll say, see, in China, 90% of the people approve of the government. How the hell do you find out? Do you go to a Chinese person on the street and you say, do you approve of the Chinese Communist Party's rule?
They're like, no way.
I mean, just imagine going to the average Chinese person.
Oh my God.
What are they going to do? Are they going to say no?
No.
If you say no, you'll be arrested.
I'm for the official statistic bureau or whatever. They'll be like, oh, shit.
It's like, where's your ID card?
Yeah.
Before you, because you will not say you disapprove.
身份证给我.
Yeah. Exactly. If you say publicly, because they will be like writing down notes and they will have a camera or they'll have a clipboard and they're asking you this, you will not say you disapprove. If you say you disapprove, you're just inviting trouble.
It's like, OG Brick says, 420 says, that's like asking a North Korean. Of course they'll say yes.
You have to say yes.
It's the same as North Korea.
It will have repercussions on your family if you say no.
Why do people have this fantasy that China's like America but in Asia or something?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say yes.
Exactly.
I mean, no one's going to say no. So
Yeah, they're just going to say, of course I love the
great
government.
leadership of the Central Committee.
It's like, do you have any complaints about Xi Jinping? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Do you have the time?
They'll be like, no. If you say yes, they'll be like, interesting. Take him away.
And there's a button.
Yeah, and he falls in the street. Yeah.
It's actually the sinkhole opens up.
Oh, a sinkhole. That's why there's so many sinkholes in China.
You guys think it's nature? No. That's a CCP design.
Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah, just looking at this is sobering. So the U.S. is favored over China in dozens of countries, of course, right? Let's have a look at this. I'd just like to see this. So in Poland, shout out to Poland. My Poles, if you are watching, you guys freaking rule. 86% approval rate for the U.S., 18% for China. And of course, this is based on the current leadership in China.
I like traditional dance, right? So what is a traditional Polish dance? A pole dance?
Oh.
I'm just...
you're not the first to make that.
Definitely not. That's so lame.
I'm sure you came up with it yourself.
Yeah, I came up with it myself, but it's lame, so...
Shout out to my South Koreans and Israelis at 77% approval. Israel, you're getting a little dicey on the China approval there with 33%. Let's rein it in a little bit.
Sure.
Based on current leadership, this should be 0. 25% for South Korea. That's a healthy number. The U.S., 71% of us love ourselves.
Yeah, it's good that you're critical of yourself. I mean, that's what makes this country great.
16% approval rating of China. I see most Americans are at least educated enough to understand that China is probably not the system we should be pining after.
Sure.
You might not like what's currently going on in the U.S. or what will happen in the future, but you certainly don't want to look to China for the future.
Yes.
Japan with a beautiful 12% approval rating of China.
Yeah. Wow. You know what's interesting is if you go through these stats, the lowest on the list that I can see is Sweden.
Sweden. I just wanted to give you guys an absolute shout out. Killing it with the China approval rating. Not
Australia. No wonder they stole all the baby infant formula from them.
Australia's
so they're
like Australia's beating the U.S.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that nuts? But shout out Sweden. Sweden flags in the. By the way, if you can put a Sweden flag emoji in the comments section, comments section, not the chat, the comments section.
Oh, right.
Pop one in the comments section. Shout out to Sweden because you made it this far in the episode. We're like almost 2 hours in.
Yeah.
You're the real ones. Pop a Sweden flag emoji down there.
Yeah, we'd love that. In the comments, not in the live chat. Yeah, because that'll last forever. The live chat doesn't.
Yes. One thing I will ask, though, Sweden, you got to bump up the U.S. approval rating. We're bros.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, me not being American, I like to ignore the America part of this.
I understand.
And it's like, I love America. Sure. I think America's great. My approval rating of America is somewhere in the high 80s, low 90s.
Oh,
all right?
Nice.
Personally.
I'm at about a 75.
And when it comes to China, my approval rating is pretty low.
Yeah.
Probably worse than Sweden.
I'm at probably a 20.
Somewhere there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because, when
There's so much I love about China.
Yeah, of course. But my approval rating is when I'm talking about the government. And the system of government.
My government approval rating is probably 5.
Yeah.
5%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere around there. Mine is 4.
Okay, you want to just You want to
'cause it's
upstream me a little bit?
no.
Oh, yeah. That's
You know,
a lucky
mine's
number.
4. Whatever. But all this US stuff aside,
Of course, I just want to
I'm looking at the
show-
China side.
I just want to show there's still
Yeah.
love out there for the U.S.
and Singapore has got the highest, and that's because, you know, like half the population's Chinese.
Yeah, that is true. But here's the deal. The Singaporeans that reach out, we have a huge Singapore viewer base, by the way,
Yeah.
and especially on Patreon. Fairly wealthy country. They can afford it, right?
Yeah.
They shout out us all the time, and they're Chinese, blood.
Yeah.
Right, but Singapore citizens, and they're very much not in support of the Chinese government.
of course,
And
definitely
what they
not our
told
viewers.
what they told me,
Yeah.
I know, of course, but what they told me is that the older Chinese generation has fallen prey to Chinese language media in Singapore, which a lot of it is
not only there, but everywhere in the world.
Everywhere else.
You know, it's weird phenomenon. You get Diaspora. And I've spoken to Chinese friends here in the USA who have the same problem.
Yep.
It's like their parents or grandparents fled China during the harsh, terrible, Tiananmen
Yes.
Square crackdowns, or
Yep.
just to even prior to that, during the whole like the wars and everything. So they fled China when it was real bad. Okay. And they've always had a negative view of the way China
Yeah.
is. That's why they left, to
Yeah.
leave a country. And I know, because I did it with
Yeah.
my own country, to get up and actually things are so bad that you're like, I don't want to live here anymore, and there's no future for me or my children here anymore.
Yeah.
To leave means it's real bad.
Yeah.
I feel exactly the way about South Africa. I will never go back.
No.
But they go overseas, they live there, they make a life for themselves, and then they start to see all this propaganda because now China's got money.
That's why I don't blame them.
Yeah. And they start to see, and then it gives you, like, I'm thinking, imagine, say, 20 years down the line, South Africa somehow turns around. This will never happen,
Sure.
but,
Right.
let's just
Let's
say,
say it does.
let's say they get a lot of money. I don't know, they discover new diamonds and gold or something again, and then they make a lot of money, and they start putting out propaganda about how safe and amazing it is, and how, like, they're leading in technology and stuff. I might go like, maybe time for me to go check out my ancestral home, or, where I come from, or if it was my parents or something. You get that vibe about like, oh, it's probably good now. But you don't know because you haven't lived there for so long, so you don't see the truth. And I think that's what's happening to these older diaspora people, is they're feeling a bit nostalgic, a little homesick maybe. They start to see all this propaganda and they start to support the country again.
Yeah.
The country that they fled from.
Yep. And again, that's why I don't blame them, is
Yeah.
that the CCP's got such a stranglehold on public opinion media
Yeah.
that of course they're going to think it's good, because the media says, no, it's not like the old days now. Everything's fine.
Every piece of media coming out of China is propaganda, because it cannot be anything else.
No.
If it's not approved by the government, it cannot leave the borders of China.
Yes.
Simple.
On the how many people in high to middle income nations view Joe Biden and Xi Jinping, the highest approval rating was Poland for Joe Biden. The lowest approval rating was Poland, Sweden, and actually the king of the low opinions there was Japan. So shout out to Japan. If you're still watching this, maybe a Japan emoji in the comment section as well if you want.
Yeah, exactly. So Japan, well, obviously they don't like Xi Jinping.
Well, he's, the country's literally threatening Japan's sovereignty in their own area of the
All
world.
the time.
Yes.
All the
So,
time, yeah. Anyway, let's move on from this lovely stat
That's
dump.
good. I thought it was good.
What is this?
These are just middle-income countries to show that the U.S. still has high approval rating in middle-income countries, but China's moving up in those countries.
Oh, yeah.
So moving down in wealthy countries in approval, people in wealthy countries are saying China's bad, right? Middle-income countries, or struggling countries that are trying to come up, are looking at China as almost like, actually, maybe
savior.
not so bad.
They're looking
right?
at them as a savior,
Because
like a
they have-
colonial savior.
Yeah, they have like a stranglehold in those countries with Belt and Road initiatives
Yeah.
and things like that,
Yeah.
right? So they're able to morph public opinion.
Badminton, believe it or not, is incredibly popular in China.
It is.
It's
Why
a-
would we not believe that, though?
Because it's not popular anywhere else. Hunting camouflage, personal dress-up shorts, tactical training skirt for men's Scottish kilt.
Look at the photo
What is this?
I just love that he's wearing a dress.
He's wearing a dress, and it looks like he's
Camo.
wearing like a bra.
Like, I don't think we took that in. That is absolutely absurd.
Fidget spinner, knife, outdoor folding blade, stainless steel camping knife, military knives, but it's got a knuckle duster built in, so you can like punch someone, and then at the same time as you're punching them, sever your own artery or body.